Let's get into it, Al. So the game one, I kind of went from time and date, right? So
Right.
Bahamas Bowl. Now, hey, I want to go to this one. Buffalo versus Charlotte, Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium in Nassau, Bahamas at 2 p.m. on ESPN. So who do you got there? So Buffalo versus Charlotte. What's your thoughts on that game?
Well, it's funny diving into some of these teams that we probably haven't got to see play all year for the most part. Neither team has ever won a bowl. I don't know if you know that or not, but both are kind of hot right now. I think both of them have won 6 games or something like that. Both pretty good offenses as well. Right now, I took Buffalo. I usually like to bet on Buffalo a little bit during the year to cover the spread for them. They usually do a pretty good job because of their offense, so I'm taking them here in this bowl game.
Yeah, Buffalo also has a pretty good run defense, and but Charlotte is successful running with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you're gonna go. It's kind of an away game. I know it's kind of a neutral site game, but with Buffalo, I feel like has a little bit better of a defense. So give me Buffalo, even though this is Charlotte's. I believe this is their first bowl game ever in the history. They haven't been in this division for very long. So it's a big deal for Charlotte. So they might be able to pull it out. I mean, I'm not going to say they can't do it, but I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one. Next up is Frisco Bowl, Kent State versus Utah State, the Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, 7:30 p.m. ESPN2. Big Jordan Love, he's going to go to the NFL, quarterback for Utah State. He's going to go to the NFL after this, but had a great year last year. Not so good this year. 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. But, it's his going away party. So give me Utah State.
Yeah, and I feel like you're doing a disservice to these bowl games, okay? You're calling it the Frisco Bowl when in reality it's the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl, okay? I think the more words you can fit in there, the funnier it is. So that's what I'm going to call it, the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. I love some of these bowl names. It's one of the most fun things about bowl season in general. You're right about quarterback Jordan Love for Utah State. He's an NFL kind of guy, and anytime when you're a lower level team and you have an NFL quarterback, obviously that's kind of somebody you're going to gravitate towards when it comes to a pick. He's going to go to the NFL and play somewhere for sure, even though, like you said, this year wasn't quite as good for him as last year. Kent State has never won a bowl. They're not going to start now. Give me Utah State as well.
All right. Good thing we're on the same page there. December 21st starts off with the New Mexico Bowl. And if I'm not saying the whole sponsor, I'm sorry. You can correct me on this. I'm still fighting laryngitis, so I can't say some of these entire bowl names. But the New Mexico Bowl, Central Michigan versus San Diego State. I went for Central Michigan in their championship game, and they let me down. San Diego State, let me tell you this. So Dream Style Stadium, Albuquerque, New Mexico. So it's closer to San Diego than it is to Central Michigan, obviously. 2 p.m. on ESPN. Central Michigan is 8-0 when they score more than 24 points and 0-5 when they score under 24 points. No one has scored 24 points or more on San Diego State. So this year. So give me San Diego State to hold them under their number, and I'm going to take them.
All right, I like that. I actually had that listed as the New Mexico Bowl as well, so I think he did a good job with that one. Even though San Diego State's quarterback Agnew is coming off a calf injury, he is listed as probable for this game. I think he's kind of the difference in this game, assuming he's healthy. Overall, I believe San Diego State is the better team. They are a slight favorite in this game, so give me the Aztecs as well.
And then we've got the Cure Bowl, which is, interesting name there. Cure Bowl, Liberty versus Georgia Southern. So two teams that we've actually talked about during the season. Georgia Southern, obviously, got that win against Appalachian State. Liberty was a team that played Virginia Tech and I believe Virginia both this year, and kind of had a pretty good game with them. But it's in the Exploria Stadium in Orlando, Florida, 2:30 p.m. on CBS SN. For me, Josh Calvert, the quarterback for Liberty, is just so consistent. He's only had 2 interceptions in the past 10 games, and he's pretty good. You can count him in for 200 yards or more every game. So Georgia Southern has been hit for a lot of passing yards in the past 5 games, 270 passing yards or more in the past 5 games. Mm-hmm. With the fact that Liberty, has a pretty decent passer, give me Liberty in this game.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I like Liberty a lot because they score some points and they've done that pretty consistently this year, as you mentioned. But Georgia Southern has been to 2 bowl games in their existence, and they have won both. And also, they handed App State their only loss of the year this year in a stunner. So I'm taking the Eagles on a flyer here. Give me Georgia Southern.
And the next one, Boca Raton Bowl, FAU versus SMU. Another one I think this is be a good one to watch. Boca Raton, Florida at FAU Stadium. It's kind of interesting there.
Yeah.
3:30 p.m. on ABC. SMU, Shane Buechele is a great passer, doesn't turn the ball over very much. SMU also has a pretty good defensive pass rush. And guess who the coach for FAU is now? Willie Taggart, taking over for Lane Kiffin. So I'm actually going to go with SMU because I actually like Shane. I think he can sling it. When I watched him when he played for Texas, and SMU had a really good season this year. So give me SMU.
Yeah, SMU's going for 11 wins for the second time in their history. But I tell you this, FAU really surprised me last week. I picked against them their last game. I think they were playing Florida International or something like that, and FAU hammered them. I thought, the departure of Lane Kiffin might hit him a little bit. The offense might struggle. That was not the case. They absolutely slaughtered FIU, and so I'm actually gonna take a flyer here as well on Florida Atlantic. So I'm gonna take them without Kiffin and still motivated.
Okay, all right, going against me there. So now I need to change my pick. The Camellia Bowl. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but Arkansas State versus FIU at Florida International in Crampton, the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. It's an interesting bowl there, or interesting stadium name. But 5:30 p.m. ESPN. Arkansas State can't stop anyone. I mean, they have one of the worst defenses in college football. So give me Florida International. Hey, guess what? Their quarterback's last name is Morgan. So that's another reason to pick Florida International.
And I tell you, it's also a reason to pick against them. Like I said, they really did poorly against FAU in that last game. Really disappointed me. I thought they were going to give them a better game than that. So since they disappointed me in the last game, and the Red Wolves had a good second half. They won a lot of close games, but they did go on a bit of a winning streak in the second half. I'm going to take Arkansas State.
All right. Now you're making me really nervous. Maybe I didn't do enough research because you are the pick master.
Yeah.
But this is actually, I think, probably one of the better games. Las Vegas Bowl, number 19, Boise State versus Washington. Sam Boyd Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, 7:30 p.m. ABC. Washington has had success. They're 7-1 when they allow 400 yards or less. Boise State, on average, has a very hard time getting to 400 yards total in a game. This is Chris Peterson's last game. He's stepping down after this. He's going to be moving into a leadership advisory position. He had some, public mental health struggles dealing with and stress struggles dealing with being a head coach of a football program. Chris Peterson coaching Washington, his current team, playing against Boise State, his previous team. Going to be an interesting one. But I actually, Boise State's ranked in this one, but I think give me Washington, give me Peterson to go out as a winner.
Yeah, Washington played some really close games this year against some really good teams. Gave Oregon a run for their money earlier in the season as well. A lot of other teams. They played well. They played big at times. They played bad at times. I think they're 7-5 on the season. But Peterson, having coached Boise State in the past, he's going to have the upper hand. He wants to go out on a high note. I'm taking Washington Huskies as well.
And then we've got the New Orleans Bowl, number 20, Appalachian State versus UAB, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Great place to play if you're going to a bowl. I mean, that you got to be excited about that if you're a player. New Orleans, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Appalachian State has led the Sun Belt in the fewest yards allowed, and UAB kind of struggles to even get in the end zone. So give me Appalachian State in this game.
Yeah, pretty easy pick for me as well. Like I said, App State lost that one game all year to Georgia Southern. They just have too much talent for the Blazers. I'm taking the Mountaineers.
And then our last game before we have another show, hopefully we don't have another sickness that runs through the show host, but we're going to do these picks through Monday afternoon, and then hopefully have a show Monday night next week and pick up where we left off with the bowl games. But December 23rd, the Gasparilla Bowl, Marshall versus Central Florida, Raymond James Stadium. We got some friends down there in Raymond James in Tampa now. We got a little branch on Dabo's tree, coaching tree in Tampa. But 2:30 p.m. on ESPN, UCF can pass the ball very well. They have a pretty good secondary, and Marshall is just really not that good on defense and struggles against specifically the pass the most. So give me Central Florida in that game.
Obviously, I like to give you a hard time about these bowl names. And I got to say this one because it's just so cool. It's the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, actually. Okay, so that's a great name right off the bat. Marshall is 6-0 in bowl games under their coach, Doc Holliday. All right, I'm your Huckleberry, if anybody understands that reference. So I guess that would make UCF Ringo. But unfortunately, for all Tombstone lovers out there, that Ringo's going to get the better of them this time. Give me the UCF Golden Knights.
I'm glad that we're together on that one. And that rounds up our bowl week, college football bowl week picks, straight up picks this week. I know you're disappointed that they're not against the spread, but straight up picks this week.